Hi, I'm Michelle and I studied at the Jwing-Ming Retreat Center. My classmate Quentin and I have recently released an instructional video on the sequence Barehand versus Staff, or Jwing-Ming. I'm here with our teacher, Dr. Jwing-Ming, to ask him a few questions about the sequence. Jwing-Ming is from our white crane lineage. Do you know any details about its origins? Did your teacher, Grandmaster Zen, mention it? It was created by him, his teacher, or somebody long before?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I don't have an idea when it gets started because when I joined, it's already part of a fundamental training. Okay, so usually when we join the white crane, the first half a year is all basic, like build up the foundation of your leg and some hand forms, covering, repairing. After that, then we start getting fighting forms, to get a feeling of that. And only after that, then we start the sequence. Yeah, the sequence like a Qixing. But usually after another half a year for the bare hand, that's about 1 year from the beginning, then you start learning staff. Because staff is a foundation of long weapons. So because the reason the staff is easier than short weapons. So that's the reason we get a staff first. So after staff, you get a build a foundation, for example, the wrist strength, the arm, the swinging, the body structure, all these things. Once you build a good foundation of the staff, then you start learning learning the Qimei Gun. Okay, Qimei Gun is the most basic sequence because remember the white crane usually they train the basic, after basic, then the student have to develop by themselves. Yeah, because it's not the same as a long fist, but the white crane is like the jazz. Then you create. But you get a foundation. And based on that foundation, you have a basic Jing pattern that you create. That's why the white crane is the same thing, because everything is alive. So once you get a staff, of course, that's foundation. After you got the staff, and you also have a bare hand, then 1.5 years later, you start with bare hand against staff. See, that's the procedures. Then after that, you start getting into the short weapon. So that's an idea. So when anybody want to practice the staff, I would say try to watch this video first, because this video is talking about staff fundamentals. So that will help them to build a foundation. So when you learn the sequence, they already have a required elements to make the technique right, power right, foundation right, then the stability, the leg right. So I don't know when it gets started, but when I started, that's how we follow the procedures. Yeah. And so it's the basic sequence, like a Qixing in the bare hand.
Do you remember practicing it if you liked one side more than the other?
No, because usually the master will teach you only one side because, for example, I'm right-handed. So usually right hand, when you get a good taste, good feeling, then any student, they can switch to left-hand side. But I didn't see too many of my classmates go to the left-hand side because we kill more time for training to make it perfect for one side because they want to continue because it's the big contents of white crane includes all 18 kinds of weapons. So again, you train right-hand side, left-hand side, actually you become more shallow. So usually you train one side until you finish a certain stage, then you train both sides. Yeah, beginning, I don't see too many of my classmates train both sides, but they do, but not too often.
How about, did you like training the staff side or the bare hand side more, or was it about the same?
No, you have to have both because you have to understand, because at that time you already have foundation of a bare hand, also of a staff. So because reason you have to keep switching. Not only that, you have to keep switching partners because the different partner have a different height, different stepping distance, and different reactions. So you have to get used to different person instead of stuck into one person. So that's why we have to train both sides. So by that time, you should have a foundation for both sides, no problem.
Were any of your classmates specialized in white crane jumping?
Yeah, there's one of them is the oldest one, the most senior one. Yeah, when I was there, I was only 16 years old, 15, 16 years old. Every time he arrived, the first thing he put the lead, the lead and the wrap around the leg and around the mountains. And amazing, he can stand still, he can jump over your head. both feet jump over your head. That's how high he can jump. Yeah, but he's the only one who really trained that, but his leg is strong, very strong. Yeah, so he can jump very good. In the Waimei, I know that one person can jump almost as good as Simon. Simon, he jumped very good. He can jump like a Spider-Man or whatever, can fly. So Simon did very good job, but I don't know if he still can do it now.
We can ask him. Okay, next question is, parts 2 and 3 of the sequence were created by you. How did you decide which techniques to include?
Well, because you know the white crane basic is not beautiful. Yeah, it's very basic. There's only people that really want to feel the white crane, they'll get deeper and deeper. But who outside people, it's not beautiful for performance. Okay, so when I came here, a lot of people attracted to the Wushu, like the modern Wushu. Everything they want performance, they want performance. The performance is, Wushu is based on the performance. There are lots of traditional feeling. Okay, but when you look at, there are only 2 sections of a traditional and they repeat one more time. Then I'm thinking that's too short, because usually when the Wushu, you can see it's a long sequence because it's for performance, and white crane is for training purpose. So, but in order to perform, I increase the two sections, make it a little bit longer, and instead of repeating, because otherwise they'll repeat every time white crane sequence, always a repeat, but they only focus on few Jing only. Okay, so I add that part. Also have another purpose is because so far you can see the barehand against staff. The first 2 parts only middle and short range. There's no long range. So I on purposely I increase few movements of a long range. So that means for the white crane would be able to get used to the long range as well. So that's the 3rd part, 4th part I added.
When you test students on the sequence, what are you looking for?
Yeah, that's will be the same as you're talking about the traditional what we're looking for. Yeah, because of the same thing, all the requirement. What the first thing is the most important thing for barehand against staff is the distance. That's the first one is the distance. Because the barehand guy has to get in to short range or get out the long range, your staff cannot reach you. If you get to the range, the staff can get you. That's that's not good. Okay, of course you have the staff. You want to keep your opponent into the most effective range for the power. So because both sides against each other and try to avoid each other, that's why the distance is always the most important. After you have a sense of distance, actually is the reaction. Because again, reaction is not say, okay, is you memorize the forms. Yeah, before your opponent move, you already move, and that's no reaction. You have to wait until you move, and then you trigger in your mind and you react. So that's a timing. It's very important. So the distance timing is important, because remember, this is a foundation of the barehand against long fist. After you learn that, then you start create. Then actually all from basic, that's why you add more technique. And that technique, your opponent will never know. But you have to train until your body reflexes. So that means the 3rd thing, we try to train body's reflexes. But this sequence will give a foundation of the angling of the in and out. That's most important. So because the reason when I get the student test, I'm looking for the same criteria. Does this guy, he's a memorized form, it's only for performance or for reflexes? Okay, do you know how to, does he know the distance, the sense of distance? Does he have a good timing of the dodge, whatever, react? See, all these things is very important in tradition. Yeah, instead of just perform how beautiful it is.
One last question. When you talk about preserving martial arts, you often mention white crane as it's not practiced by as many people as other styles. What makes Kongso-Doguen unique in regards to its flavor?
Now you talk about the traditional, you talk about routine, foundation, sense of distance, sense of enemy. Yeah, instead of just performance for the beauty. Yeah, because you can see, like, for example, modern Wushu is beautiful. Yeah, but questions, can you use it? If you don't use it, then everything is like a flower, like a plastic flower, you cannot use it. So when I emphasize always application, will you be able to apply the technique into the actual action? If you cannot, then it's only your forms. Okay, so I'm looking for the foundation, routine, in and out as speed as possible, and you can see how you dodge the timing. All these things is called traditional instead of just for the beauty.
Shifu, I know you're very busy and I appreciate your time, so thank you. For everyone who is watching, if you're interested in learning the sequence, you can check out our video course. But better yet, you can also learn it from a qualified YMA instructor around the world. You can visit ymainternational.com to find a teacher and school near you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.